Hollywood, man, it's good to get you back on the show, man. Got some big fights coming up in one night, two fights. Preparing for something like that, how do you do it, man? How do you prepare mentally, especially for this?
I think, dude, just taking it one fight at a time. I mean, there's no way that you're really going to be able to simulate fighting twice in one night. You know what I mean? It's just kind of something that you're going to have to prepare for mentally. I think like if you train that way, you know what I mean, you're just asking for injury. It's just kind of like it's I don't think it's a smart idea to train to fight. So you just prepare to be the best you can for 5 rounds or 6 rounds of the night. Just take one fight at a time and then take the next fight at a time. And especially fighting this criteria. You don't know what's going to happen. Like as far as the other, Pitbull could get cut or like he could be, Gustavo could win, but they could take some damage. So you don't know what kind of opponent you're really going to be facing in the second. And you don't know how you're going to be. You know what I mean? You don't know how if you're going to be banged up from the first fight too. So it's just best taking a fight at a time. Train, be the best version of yourself, be in shape, and be ready to go for 2 fights.
It's almost like who can be the best fighter, but on top of that, who can make the adjustments with what's gonna happen? Because you don't know exactly like you just mentioned. You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know who you're gonna fight. So there's a lot of variables in this night of fights. It's that's what makes it so exciting, man.
Without a doubt, man. Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of we have to see. We're all gunning for the top, and we're all good, dangerous fighters. So, yeah, I mean, the probability of any of us getting through a fight with each other and being 100% healthy at the end of it are pretty slim anyway. So let's go. Let's just push go. I'm ready to fight all three of them on New Year's Eve if that's what it takes. So I'm just worried about myself, and I'm pushing myself, and I'm the best I've ever been in my life, and I'm just ready to go out and showcase.
Being the best that you ever been in your life, it seems true, man, because the last year, you went in there and made your debut 1 year ago against Yachi. You cooked him. Then you went in against Kitaoka, smoked him, and then you went against D'Souza and fried him up. It's just like back to back to back. It's just like unstoppable almost. Do you feel that way?
I do. I don't. I mean, a fighter can't ever think that he's invincible or that there's not a match out there because in order to get to the top level anyway, you've had to have been humbled at some point. So at any moment, when you're fighting the best guys in the world, as you should be, at any moment, I mean, shit cannot go your way. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm the best I've ever been, mentally, physically, technically, everything, and I feel like I'm a performer. I can go out there and I can do my job and I can do it to 100% of my ability. No excuses. And if on that night there's a guy, something happens and I'm not champion, then it was never in my fortune. You know what I mean? Because I know I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure that my chances to win are maxed out. So really, there's no pressure. There's no nothing, man. Just go do myself, and I know in my mind, I know in my heart that I'm the best guy in this tournament, and I'm just gonna go out in there and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna show it.
Yeah, the performance have been excellent, man. But throughout the last year, where do you think you've improved though the most? Through your training and through your preparations.
My focus, my consistency. All my fights in the past. I was a single man. I was a bachelor. I'd fight and then I'd go home and I wouldn't train and I'd be out the bars and I'd be drinking and I'd be eating and not training like I was supposed to. And then when fights would come around, it'd be like fat camp. You know what I mean? I'd just be getting back into shape and getting ready to fight again. But I really wasn't developing and I really wasn't improving my skills in between camps. You know what I mean? Now, like I'm dating a UFC fighter, Emily Whitmire, and like having that extra, having that someone in your life who's also dedicated to the sport and also focused on training and eating right. And you know what I mean? Like that's been the biggest thing, man, is just having a good woman in my life, and and staying consistent, training year round, like it's my actual job. You know what I mean? And that's been the biggest thing, man. Just time in the gym.
Yeah, man. Yeah, having somebody there, like next to you, close to you, kind of pushing you and motivating you, and at the same time they're doing the same thing you're doing, not just like they're just on the side yapping at you, right?
Yeah, it's just someone that is having someone that you want to be better for. You know what I mean? Like that, and that's what it is. And someone who holds you accountable. And like, even if she doesn't, like, you know what I mean? I could take the day off and I could, like, do my own thing. And she's great. She wouldn't bust my balls too bad. But just knowing that, like, like she's probably training. You know what I mean? So it holds yourself to a higher standard. And you're like, no, like, like I'm gonna do this. If anything worth doing is worth doing the right way. So. And I got by on so much of my career on just being like, I guess you would say half in, half out kind of fighter. You know what I mean? Like, I trained hard, I was focused, I was good, I was skillful, but it was like, it wasn't my everything. It was like, it was my, when I needed money, when I wanted to fight, when I get the itch. So consistency and having a good woman and just being happy, dude. Being happy has been the biggest thing too. You know what I mean? So it goes back to what I was saying with, like, training the way I was training. It was like, dude, is this what I really want? But then again, it's like, what it's like, I can't make money doing anything else at this point in my life. Like, this is a career for me. Like, I've done well. Like, as far as like, I'm a good fighter. I know I can compete with anybody. And, it just kind of came a time where I was like, dude, what am I doing? I only got X amount of time left, and let's get as many world titles and get as many paychecks as we can.
So maybe in the first half of your career, you felt like you were just a fighter, but now it's more like you're a full blown athlete. Do you feel that way?
100%. Yeah, that's it, man. I mean, just that's the thing. Before I was a fighter, I was like, I was good, I was skillful, I could fight, I could bang. But now, yeah, like, my body was not an athlete's body. It was like kind of like an active kind of tough guy, I guess. A guy who goes to the bar, who eats. You know what I mean? Like, not a guy who's like, oh, if I eat this, I'm gonna feel like shit when I work out tomorrow. You know what I mean? I'd be like, oh, I'm not working out tomorrow, I can eat like shit. I'm not gonna. It's not a big deal. But now, it's like, yeah, just everything. The whole big picture. I'm more of an athlete. I'm just more centered, mind, body, soul, healthier lifestyle, and that's made all the difference, man.
Yeah, I think that nowadays it's like if you're not doing that, you're not at the top of the game. You're gonna be a middleman. You're gonna be a journeyman. That's what's gonna happen. You could get by being tough, but you're not gonna be at the top 10 or the top 5.
And that's it, man. And it's kind of like, there's always like a rule of three that applies in MMA. And there's the rule of three okay, so there's three things that you need, or there's three things that can win fights. You need the toughness, like that tough, like, street fighter mentality, like heart of a lion, and you're just going to keep coming forward until they fall. You need that. You also need a martial artist where you're technical and you're slick and you're smarter and you can set people up. But then you also need the third, which is just strength and athleticism, and just pure brute strength and being an efficient athlete. You know what I mean? And yeah, you're right. It takes all three of those. The best guys who's got all three of those mastered are world champions. I mean, they're the best fighters in the world. So you really do need the rule of three, man. You need heart, you need technique, and you need strength and athleticism.
Yeah, now let's get into your opponent, man. You called it, man. You said that I was gonna face the winner of Tofiq versus Brown, and you got drawn that fight. And I feel like this is the most intriguing fight out of the two. You know what I mean? Because the other one is, I don't know. The other one is not as intriguing. I'm just gonna be honest with you, man. Like, this one is like, there's so many variables. There's so many ways to win the fight on both sides, and Tofiq is the wild card. He's the wild card, I believe. So when you break him down, like, see him from his last performance and how he dismantled Damian Brown, what are your thoughts on him?
Dude, I mean, he's a fucking stud. What? There's nothing else to say about it. The kid's good. But like, a lot of that style, like that Russian style, the kickboxing, man. It's, if you've seen one and you've fought one or trained with one, it's kind of all the same bag of tricks. You know what I mean? Like, he's very strong. He's a very good striker. He's very technical, but his tactics, he lacks his tactics. And that's where I'm going to exploit him. And that's where I'm going to be the veteran. And I'm going to show him, you know what I mean? There's levels to this game that he hasn't experienced yet. And there's situations of the fight that he hasn't been in yet. You know what I mean? And I have, and I know that's where I can really have the upper hand with him. And being an MMA fighter, you know what I mean? Not getting stuck in his kickboxing. He's had a lot of success where he goes out there and he establishes his range and he's bully and he sits guys at the end of his combos, and then they're kind of getting stuck out there and just kind of like, oh shit, and then and they're kind of at the mercy of his will. You know what I mean? But nobody's really gone out there and gotten a fight with him. You know what I mean? They just kind of try to stay tactical, and then he takes over, and he's a front runner kind of a fighter. You know what I mean? And guys like that, you got to get out there and you got to start fighting. You got to start taking the lead.
Being at Extreme Couture in Las Vegas, I'm pretty sure that's very helpful because there's a lot of, Europeans, Russians that come through there and train for, 2 weeks, months at a time. So you've probably experienced that style over and over and over again for the last year or so.
Yep. Last year and a half of my, training here at Extreme Couture, there's tons of guys, there's a beat, he's come in, trained with him. I've sparred with him quite, a couple times. This other kid, Mohammed, I can't even pronounce his last name, but they're all the exact same style, where it's just like that technical textbook kickboxing, and then they'll throw spin kicks and they'll throw, side kicks and shit like that. You know what I mean? It's very, it's good. I mean, that's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dogging that style. That's a very good style. That's a tough style to fight, but he's not really crafty,
Outside of Extreme Couture, I see that you've frequented the Venom facility. Is that like your main sponsor, or you just go there to train once in a while?
No, so I'm actually a coach. I coach amateur fighters,
Okay.
the MMA there at the Venom Gym in Summerlin here in Las Vegas. I'm a coach there, and I train there as well. There's some really good. Kit Cope is the Muay Thai instructor there, and Raquel and Hanato Kunto. I'm sorry, I always butcher their last name, but Raquel and Hanato both are stud grapplers in the grappling world. So definitely there's some good training there, and as far as like my main training, it's at Extreme Couture.
Yeah, man. It seems like you found the best fit at the perfect time with the perfect promotion with the rule set that you enjoy, man. You seem, yeah, like you said earlier, you're happy.
I am, dude. I'm blessed. It's always like a blessing in disguise too. When I got cut from the UFC, I was like, I was blacklisted. Like I couldn't find fights anywhere. And I was like, man, this really, the UFC kind of took my career from me. And kind of left me bitter. But now it's given me the opportunity to fight. I fought in the very first ever PFL tournament. Now I'm getting ready to fight in a Grand Prix tournament in Rizin Grand Prix for the lightweight title. You know what I mean? Like, this is like legendary shit. People, not very many people have the opportunity to do what I'm able to do right now. And I just couldn't be more thankful. I couldn't be more happy in my life. It's everything happens for a reason, and it may seem sour in the beginning, but just like medicine, man, if you got to take it and it'll make you better. You make your dreams come true.
Yeah, definitely. Now, let's say you win, both fights, you get the belt. Is that the title belt, or is it just the Grand Prix belt?
I think it's just a lightweight Grand Prix, just the Grand Prix title. But I don't know who the lightweight champion is. I'm pretty sure it's vacant. I haven't seen any lightweight champions. Yeah. So, when I go out there and I win this Grand Prix, I'm king of Rizin. I'm Rizin lightweight champion. So, whoever they want to have next, man, like I'll if they don't want to call it a title fight, then I'll fight the guy who they want to match it against. So yeah, I win this. In my eyes, I'm the lightweight champion.
When are you planning on flying out there? Are you going to go out there a little bit earlier, or just like normal, just like a week out?
Oh, perfect. Yeah. And then I'll have the 29th, 30th, 31st, fly home on the 1st. So I prefer it that way. You know what I mean? Like when I go that way, the time change, that stuff, that lag doesn't affect me. Coming back the other way, coming that way back to home, it really messes with you for like 2 weeks. But going that way is not a big deal. So we can go there, do as much training here and then just go there, fight, get paid, come home, man. That's kind of how I prefer it.
Basically, it's like fighting in the morning over there.
Yeah, essentially. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you train in the morning anyway, so it's just like your body is used to that time.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and as the fight, so I'm like 2.5 weeks out right now. As the fight gets closer, I start training. My final training will be a fight at fight time. So it's like my body is like so simulated to the fight. It's like, man, we're just going out and doing what we do every day for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. So it knows, and so my body knows as soon as it's time to turn it on, it's time to turn it on, and Ain't no different. Day in, day out, just like clockwork, man. Another day in the office.
Bellator. It's 2 days before the tournament. Rizin 20. Are you gonna be there? Are you gonna soak it in a little bit and enjoy the fights and kind of get the vibe from that event and then carry it into your fights?
Yeah, I think I'll probably go. I have a couple teammates, ex-teammates that are on the card, so I think I'll probably go and watch. It kind of depends on like how I'm feeling this because I'll be cutting weight, kind of getting skinny. So it'll be the night before I start cutting. So depending on how I feel, may or may not go. But it break my heart if I don't. But what an epic event to be a part of. So.
Yeah, it's a crazy 3 days, man. It's like an event you cannot miss, especially with Fedor fighting Rampage, and then you got your tournament, and you got the bantamweight title on the line, and then you got the atomweight title on the line for
Yeah.
Rizin. 3 titles in one night. That's a beautiful
Yuri's
thing.
Yuri and CB are fighting for the 205 title too, correct? Is that the Rizin title?
I don't know.
I think Yuri and CB are fighting for the title as well.
Okay. That's 4 titles then. That's Hey, CB's like he just jumped right in.
Yeah, dude. CB's a good teammate, or he's a good friend of mine. He was an ex-teammate of mine. He hit me up immediately and was like, "Man, like we're gonna do first 8 cards."
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Anyways, yeah, man. December 31st, Rizin 20 lightweight Grand Prix semifinals, finals. Johnny, man, always appreciate the time and good luck to you, man.
I said, yeah, man, it's always a pleasure talking to you. I appreciate your time, and you guys tune in on the 31st and watch me become world champion.